Got a great question here from one of my subscribers, from Dominica, about getting a series on a manoeuvre on the driving test and how to avoid them. So the question that she asked was, let me read it out, is it possible to get a minor or a major series doing the manoeuvre on the driving test? If so, how do I avoid them? So on any driving test manoeuvre, you're going to get marked for two things: for control of the car and observations. So there's two areas that they're looking for, and what they're going to ask you to do, and I'll use reverse bay parking as the example here. They're going to say to you, get out of this parking space, get yourself parallel with the end of the bays, and reverse back into an empty space within the white line. So if you can do that effectively by doing good observations and controlling the car nicely, then you won't get any faults at all. So if you can do it first time, but you're looking round and everything's fine, then you're going to get a nice clear, well done, you've done okay on that one there. All right, so do things slowly. So don't rush the car, don't race into the space. You know, take your time with things, do good observations, do your 5-point checks more regularly. When you're going backwards, look over your shoulders. If anyone's approaching, slow the car down and stop. So you're reacting nice and early. So you're being proactive rather than reactive to a potential hazard that's starting to develop. So you has a perception again as it comes into it. And then you reverse into that space and you've done it in one go. So that's an ideal situation. But what people pick up faults for is not doing effective observations. So they've got out of the bay, they popped it in reverse, and they're reversing backwards, but they're just checking the mirrors. They're not looking over the shoulders. So they're going to get an observation fault. And if that continues on the manoeuvre, it's going to eventually become a series because they're not looking round enough. They should be, as well as checking the mirror, check your shoulder. Check your right mirror, check your shoulder. Check your centre mirror, check your shoulder. What's behind you? That's how you want to be good at effective observations to avoid a fault. The actual control fault, because that was observations fault, the control fault of it is when you're reversing backwards, is controlling the car so it's slow. It's not a fast race to get in there, because they're going to give you, if I have to guess, they're going to give you about 4 or 5 minutes to the manoeuvre, which is plenty of time. If you do it slowly, you'll do it within 2 minutes easier. So you pop it in reverse, you're out of the bay, you pop it in reverse, you look round, observations are great, you take your time, you don't have to rush it. But if you're going into the space and it doesn't go straight into the space, it's slightly right on the right hand side line but just touching the line, then you want to kind of correct it at that point, because if you leave it, then you're going to get a fault. And the examiner might even hint to you. Some of the examiners might say, are you happy with that? You finished? Kind of thing. So if you're not too sure and you look on your side and you've got that much space on your side between you and the white line, then you're probably on the white line. So I'm just going to go forward. So pop it in first gear, have good observations, bring yourself out of the bay, but correct your positioning so you're more in the middle. And then when you pop it in reverse to reverse back, keep your observations going over your blind spots and looking over your shoulders and reverse back in space. That's going to get you a driver fault because you've had to do a correction. That's not going to get a series. But if you leave the actual car over the line, right, so the tyres are over the line, then that's going to be a series. Or if you're trying to correct it 3 or 4 times and you can't do it because it's going completely wrong, at that point, at some point, the examiner's going to think, well, I've given you 3 tries to try and correct your mistake here. And at that point, say, that'll do. At that point, you failed. All right, so remember, take your time. You've got quite a bit of time to do it. And if you're not too sure about how to correct faults, practice them. Because if you're one of those people who can get it in first time, fantastic. But on the test, you guarantee it's going to go a bit pear-shaped and wrong. So practice how to correct mistakes. Good luck, and I hope this answers the question.